rotation. Top exercises to help you in the water. My name is Chris Mills with surfstrengthcoach.com. I'm going to give you a list of movements, exercises, stretches that have a lot of carryover to yourself as a surfer and the overall athletic capacity, so you can take that to the water. These are some fundamental movements that as surfers we need to be efficient in and have strength in, so that our bodies aren't limited once we get out there and start surfing. They're not overly functional. We're not trying to mimic our time or our sport movement in the water. We're building solid bases of control and strength and power in these critical movement patterns, so that all allows us to improve the skill in the surf. So let's get going. Good old squat. The front squat, or goblet squat to be more precise. So much of our time on the surfboard is a combination between a squat pattern and a lunge pattern and everything between. So you need to be efficient at the squat pattern to build control and strength through the lower body, force absorption and force production, but it also helps range of motion. If you've got adequate range of motion through ankle, knee, hip, you can carry that into the water. Whereas if you're limited, oh, I've just run out of hip room, my squat's all funky, I've just run out of ankle room, that's going to limit your surfing or the ability to move how you need to in the surf. So we're going to start with the goblet squat. This is one of my Balinese workout tools. It's a soccer ball filled with sand. This probably weighs about 15 kilos. You can use a dumbbell or a kettlebell. If it's a kettlebell, here's the handle, you're holding onto the handle. If it's a dumbbell, you're holding onto the top lip. So it's a goblet squat position. You're working on creating torque, good posture, good position, good spine alignment. Again, working on that quality posture, good contribution of ankle, knee, hip, spine. So build some control with the basic goblet squat. Then we go to a front squat. Imagine this is a barbell. For some of you it might just be a barbell. If you're putting some load onto it and have some strength, throw some weight plates on the end. Same position, right? We're still squatting. Learning how to control the lower body, produce and absorb force, build some strength. So you build that basic strength and control, contribution of the joints, durable joints, strong lower body. Then we start getting more dynamic. We start getting into rotational jumps, maybe 180, plyometric work, repetitive jumps. But you need that basic squat pattern first, so you're able to get in and out of positions, produce and absorb force, carry it to the water. Lunge pattern. So again, you're on that board, variety of hip positions, dynamic leg positions. You need to be able to lunge. Health of the joints, mobility of the joints, and strength. You need to first be able to do a basic split squat. Down and up. Mostly vertical shin position. Good control, I can balance. You can even go eyes closed. That progresses into a reverse lunge. Step back. What you want to get to is a dynamic lunge. And so think of stepping to 11 and 1 and 10 and 2 and various vectors within that. We bring in this upper body movement with a medicine ball or a light dumbbell just to challenge core control. Again, think of on that surfboard how often you're in these various hip positions with arms and torso rotation going in different vectors. Good core control, vertical spine. Going backwards is a bit more difficult. So again, this variety of hip positions, stepping to 11 and 1, 10 and 2, good core control. There's a lot of carryover of that movement to our time in the water. Ring chin-ups for both men and women. You want to get here. You should get here. Just that strength and mobility and control of this vertical pull position has a lot of benefits for the upper body. Strength for those big digs, kind of that burst paddling, and just, like I said, control and mobility, being able to get those arms overhead without having to change rib position, changing neck position. For some of you, getting to a ring chin up could be quite a goal, but it should be one you get to. you might need to first work what we call active and passive hangs. So my knees are off the ground, I'm just totally free hanging and just pulling my shoulder blades down the spine and holding. That's going to build some scapular control. You may also need to start working on top hold positions. Good shoulder position, chest up nice and tall. Most people, they get to that top position and it's all here, or they're in the bottom position and they start pulling and they immediately go here. That's why this active hang and top position hangs just help to reinforce that quality movement and basic strength. And then get to full ring chin-ups. And again, I'm just totally hanging, can't see my feet. And you can start playing with speed, repetition, higher volume, put a weight plate between the legs. There's a lot of variations you can take this, but if you can do a quality ring chin-up, you've got a really strong and mobile upper body, and you can do a lot of dynamic training with it. This next drill, you're going to be curious how this carries over to surfing. It's a Turkish GetUp. And it looks a bit funky, but it has so much carryover from joint control, dynamic positions of the shoulder, of the hips. It hits a lot of movement patterns and just physical attributes that as a surfer you need. This is generally done with a kettlebell. I'm going to again use this sand-filled soccer ball. So it's generally done with a kettlebell. Bell rests against the outside of the wrist. If you're starting this, start with a shoe. Just balance a shoe on your hand, and I urge you to link up with myself, some other strength and conditioning coach, or find some avenues via the World Wide Web to learn how to do this drill really efficiently. I'm going to do 1 rep on each side just so you get an idea. So again, it looks a bit bizarre. Go through it a few times, and again, it hits all these varying positions of the hips, the shoulders, core control. It has a lot of beneficial carryover. Take some time to learn this movement. You're probably going to find you're a bit different left to right. This hits a lot of positive aspects. Flexibility. You need to be able to move through your joints well. So there's some impressive levels of flexibility coupled with strength and power. That's what a surfer really needs. So a couple movement patterns for you to go through to really kind of work on control in end ranges of motion. Good tight push-up position, so I'm not sagged, core's active, shoulders are tight. We call this a Spider-Man. Foot comes up, I'm stretching this back leg hip flexor. I can push through the front heel, I'm starting to stretch the front hamstring. Control, I can start using muscles, driving this hip out. Start adding in rotation. You can drop the back knee and come into rotation, so we're getting that thoracic spotted rib cage to open. And so what it looks like in real time, drive, chest tall, drive, hip back, ribs open up. A few reps per side. It might take you some time to get to that fluidity. An inchworm. Start in a good solid plank position. Inch the toes up, driving the heels to the ground. And then walk the hands forward. Don't sway the hips. Core control. Walk the hands as far forward as you can to get that core engaged. Then you would inch the toes back up. So again, I'm running out of space. Control. Keep that core engaged, tight. Now, work on that ankle range of motion. It's our neighbor's dog. Push-ups. This whole duck dive, popping up, push pattern is pretty important. Strong core integration and a healthy shoulder joint. You need to get to ring push-ups. That's a goal for most of us. We first need to get efficient with just a solid ground-based push-up. It's very infrequent that I consult with somebody and they do it well. So think of good spinal postural alignment. I'm not sagging the core. As soon as you start sagging that low back, it's because the core is not engaged. What do people do? They drop into the push-up, they drop their back, and they sag their head. That is complete inefficiency. So first, can you do a good quality, tight, core active push-up? And then you can elevate the feet onto something and start working on those. But what we want is to get to ring push-ups. The instability just requires more core control and shoulder stability. Control down. I'm not dropping the head, I'm not sagging the core. Good, strong, stable upper body, integrated with a strong midsection. It's a big list of movements, a new repertoire for your training. All these fundamentals to improve your athletic capacity so you can improve your skill acquisition in the surf. You don't need to be overly functional trying to mimic your sport-specific movement in the gym. Work on these fundamentals, get strong, get powerful, add some complexity, and eventually you'll be training really dynamically. But hit these fundamentals first so that you're not missing out in the water. If you have questions, get in touch. Check out surfstrengthcoach.com. Improve how you move so you can improve your body and improve your surfing.